Most people think that messaging is about finding the right strategy, finding the perfect niche, or understanding your ideal client and their pain points. But what if the actual real magic, the pieces that you're looking for, the consistency, the confidence, the clarity actually comes from you and your authentic self, not outside of you, some strategy that a guru has or the perfect niche. It's actually something inside of you. Your defined centers are the places in your design that never waver. They're the broadcast, the signature frequency. They're the energy that people feel long before you ever type a word. This is your authentic expression, is in your definition. And everything that I do, both in my offers and the free content that I put out there, number one comes from my authentic expression, my definition, but also to help you uncover and naturally feel into what your definition is. What is your broadcast channel? What is your signature frequency? I want you to know and understand that. This is why I love human design. Why? Because it shows you a map of like what is truly authentic to you. And it shows you, like in the last episode where we talked about undefined centers and how they hijack our messaging, they hijack our manifestations, they hijack our success, trying to get us to focus on things that aren't actually important. They aren't us, instead of focusing on what our definition is. And each center in human design has a unique frequency, a unique signature, and the way they all come together in your chart is unique to you. There are, I'm sure, a few people that have like the same defined centers, but how you express them is all going to be unique. And in this episode, I'm going to walk you through each of the 9 centers and the definition, the expression, the broadcast frequency of that center so that you can start to feel into, ooh, how would I show up with that? How would that affect my brand voice and what I'm here to say? Because that's ultimately the whole point of this, is to be your authentic self in your expression. Okay, so I've distilled each center down to one word, and you can use that word as like your brand voice. But really, what I want you to understand is the frequency of this center and how it's showing up. Okay. So the head center is the ability to hold a steady mental frequency. It's ideas. It loves ideas and giving other people ideas. And it just has so much inspiration. So the one word for the head center is inspiration. It's how do you inspire people? Inspire people to new ideas, inspire them to expand what they think is possible. Like that's like inspiration on overdrive when you have a defined head. And there are very few actually that have a defined head. So if you do, like you are one of the lucky, beautiful people that gets to inspire us by showing us what's possible. That's the higher frequency of the head center. When you have the ajna, the second one down, the one word is conviction, because you understand how to put things and ideas together. You understand a viewpoint and you can share that viewpoint. How does it work in your mind? When you have a defined ajna, you think in a very consistent, focused way. So the way you see things is so important. Sharing that, your frameworks, your processes, anchoring that into your authority. Like this is how it works. You communicate with that consistency. And that's when the world goes, oh my gosh, how do I understand this? I want to understand it. And you can distill those ideas. With a defined throat, the one word is expression. Obviously, express yourself. Your voice is the transmission, not the strategy. Okay. You have a way of just speaking and being heard as long as you are trusting what you're saying. I know that I have a defined throat. And the times that I have felt like I wasn't confident in what I do, the words didn't come. It felt disconnected. People didn't really listen. They didn't really get it. Versus when I believed and when I was so confident, like to my bones, confident in what I do, it doesn't matter really what I say. I can mess up. I can spell things wrong. I can have bad grammar. It doesn't matter because the energy behind it is there and people are connecting with that first and foremost. And then they connect to the actual words. So your one word is expression. When you speak from your truth, people feel it instantly. Instantly. Your tone, your pacing, your energy, it's all felt first. So do you believe in the work that you're doing? Do you believe the words that are coming out of your mouth? I know that when I'm starting to film these videos, I will have a couple of or like takes where it takes me a second to get into it. I'm saying like, what am I saying? Blah, and I have to like get this gobbledygook out. And then by the like third or the fourth take, like, oh, here we go. Now it can just roll out and it's not a big deal. Showing up consistently amplifies your magnetism. So there's a lot that goes into consistency. So I don't want you to get hung up on this one piece, but consistently meaning your energy is consistent. Not necessarily you have to show up every single day. It's about the consistency of your energy. Are you showing up in your power, in your authentic self, first and foremost? The G center is the next one down, and it's direction, because the G center is all about identity, where you're going, your path forward. So in your messaging, it's about being consistent in your why behind your work. So important as a defined G to connect to your why. Like, even if it evolves, that's fine, but really knowing your why and where you're going. And your brand is going to feel cohesive and recognizable when it is anchored in like you, allowing the brand to look however you want it to look, but being consistent in that look and feel. People come to you because you can help them understand who they are. The defined will has one word of value. When you have a defined will, you have the stable sense of worthiness. And honestly, I I don't have a defined will, but the people that I know that do, they gosh, they understand their worth in such a concrete, like, of course I'm worthy. Of course I'm valuable. Of course, right? There isn't that question there that an undefined will person will likely have. So when you're a defined will, you're speaking with a natural place of your power. Like you're not trying to prove anything, right? A defined will is not going to go out there and be like, you need to work with me, because like they just know that you're going to work with them. There's no question. They just know, right? Pricing, boundaries, standards, all like it's all there. They don't have to communicate it. It's just there. They hold that standard with their energy. You elevate the room just by existing in it and in knowing what your value is. And when you know what your value is, you can transfer that to other people and going, gosh, your work is amazing. Like, look at how valuable it is, right? That's what we're doing with any of our defined energy, is that we're amplifying it out into the world and showing others how to use that energy too. We're giving it, right? Defined solar plexus, the one word is emotional. I know you probably think, like, I don't want to be considered emotional in my branding. You do. You have a very unique and consistent way of going through emotions, feeling emotions, processing emotions, all of it. And so communicating that emotionality in your messaging is really important. You're broadcasting that there's intensity and depth and truth. It's an emotional expression as part of your brand. Storytelling. Oh my gosh, please be a storyteller when you are a defined emotional person, defined solar plexus. I do believe that storytelling and helping others understand their emotions is going to be a huge part of your business. You have these waves that create natural rhythm to your visibility. So you're excited and happy and going with it. And then maybe you retreat and go through the emotional wave of like, you know what? I don't want to be seen right now. I'm good. Sometimes you may feel like you can be seen in the whole spectrum. The more comfortable you are being seen in your emotions, the more that you will be magnetic to your people. The defined sacral has one word of energy, right? The Energizer Bunny. You sustain this life force power, right? So your energy is always moving, always going, always going, passion buzz. When you talk about what lights you up, this is what creates your content magnetism, your excitement, your passion, your telling people why this is so amazing. Just you being excited about the thing draws people in. If you have a defined spleen, the one word is intuition. You're intuitive. You are instinctual. You follow those creative hits, the inspiration that comes with intuition of, hey, ooh, I got this idea. Let's go do it. In your messaging, it's precise, it's clean, it's like you see things that no one else sees. You have this natural gift of timing when you trust it, trusting that intuitive timing. And you can feel what's resonant and what's forced. And I have a defined spleen, and I can, like, when I am truly in alignment, I can feel when I'm forcing something and not just coming from, I know my truth, I know what I need to say, and I'm going to say it. But when I'm forcing it and when it feels out of alignment, I can feel that, right? And then if you have a defined route, the word is momentum. You generate this pressure and you can show people what to do next, what's important, what's not important, and giving people direction on the actions they need to take. So in your messaging, you know it's time when to push something out and when it's time to like, ooh, let's just chill. Okay. You create a little bit of natural urgency that's not forcing, but it's like, ooh, I'm going to light a fire under my butt and get going. And you help others move into that action as well. Okay. So this is understanding what is your authentic expression is what we do inside of the Magnetic Messaging Club, because I know how challenging it is to create a message that feels like you in a world that's telling you day in and day out, it has to look a certain way. It doesn't have to look any way other than what you are here to express. We can talk about ideal client. We can talk about offers and all those things. But at the end of the day, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know how you want to show up, you will ultimately build a business that is built on sand, that isn't your authentic self. And you will get to a point where the business feels like it's taken on a life of its own. It's not you anymore, and you don't really like it. Conversely, I know that I'm building a business that feels the most aligned to me and it supports my life and it feels like just easy and effortless to show up. That's what I want for my clients. That's what I want for every business owner, to not feel like there's a pressure to perform, a pressure to show up a certain way. There's only that you get to serve in the way that feels right for you. That's what we do in the club, is understanding how to be our authentic self in our messaging, in our offers, on our sales pages, in our content, all the things. So if you're interested in that, check out the link below. Otherwise, go watch the video on undefined centers and how they hijack our messaging. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.